Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we have a mission to wake the world up to what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the most amazing authors of a new book that we have coming out. This one is called The Energy Medicine Solution: Mind-Blowing Results for Living an Extraordinary Life. Who else loves that title? Yes. Like, I can't wait to share this with you guys. Before I introduce these amazing authors to you today, I just would love to say a ginormous thank you to Jacqueline Kane. She's our lead author on this book. And Jacqueline, you had a big mission for this. You really wanted to get the idea of energy medicine out into the world in a bigger, better way. And thank you so much for trusting me to publish this book. And thank you for the stellar community that you pulled around you and me to bring these gifts into the world in this book. So you guys, who do I have here with me? Well, Bradford Tilden is an expert crystal and sound healer and the leading universal white time gemstone healing teacher in the United States, who inspires, educates, and activates people toward their true spiritual awakening. Lisa Roche is here with me. She is an expert healer who helps people heal their trauma to find their soul's purpose, and is co-founder of Spirit Calling, a premier offering community education and guidance from a curated collection of practitioners. Oh my goodness, you guys, you're so awesome. Okay, Trudy M. Rouillard-Sewell is in private practice as a licensed clinical mental health therapist. And Vera Helena is with me. She's a licensed massage therapist, a Chinese herbalist, and a national board certified educator for body workers, teaching healers how to heal themselves and others. You guys, I need a trophy for reading bios. I seriously do. All right. You guys need to give me this bio reading trophy. Okay. Bradford. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I hope I didn't mess any of it up. You guys are so amazing and you're doing such amazing things in the world, right? You deserve every word being clearly read, and so that people really understand your mission. You all said, yeah, I'm going to help people. I'm going to trailblaze this. And I'm so grateful to all of you for being here, for not just for being in this project, but for who you are and what you do in the world. Thank you for that. Bradford, you're going to start the party off today. Tell us about your amazing chapter.
Absolutely. Thank you, Laura. I sound really good when you announce me. So yes, you can find my chapters number 19. And when Jackie approached me with this opportunity, it took me a while to figure out exactly what I would write about. But then I focused on, and this is true, I started my chapter with the day that my worst fear came true. And that day, instead of being a devastation, of course, which is what you fear, it galvanized me into action. And it allowed me to shed the vestiges of the normal life, which I never really bought into anyway. I was always the black sheep, and really put my trust and faith in the universe. And I took that leap of faith and I just followed my passions, which at the time were music and the healing arts, specifically massage. And then through a series of amazing coincidences, I was guided to this spectacular, life-changing modality called Universal White Time Healing. I'm not going to give any details out because I want you to read the chapter, but it was life-changing. Within 6 months, I became one of the highest-ranking gemstone teachers in the country. And now that's really what I do. I teach white time healing and I travel everywhere. And so I have a couple wonderful opportunities. I have a retreat in North Carolina in January, and I'm also going out to Sedona, Arizona in early February to teach the level 1 gemstone class. So if you read my chapter and you love crystals, these might be wonderful opportunities for you to align with this incredible modality and knowledge and lifestyle. So thank you, Laura, for having me.
Bradford, what's the most important thing you want us to know about the gemstones? Like, you talk to our listeners, the ones who have no clue about this.
Sure. Everything has energy, and gemstones are alive. We learned that in first grade science. It's the kingdom of life, the mineral kingdom, and people just forget about it. And they have the capacity to support us energetically isolation and also in combination. And the technology is taking the combination of stones and it creates this composite frequency that, for example, can support you through cancer or cleanse your blood or open your crown chakra. I mean, there's infinite ways that you can use gemstones to sustain your life force energy because they are constantly emitting energy. It's like always having a stereo on, but having a stereo symphony of vibration within you when you learn how to use crystals and work with them. You're going to the mall, you want to filter out people's energy, so you carry a particular stone with you that does that for you. And that's just one example. Very practical applications.
I like that mall example. Why do I want I'm going to play with you guys.
Sure.
I know some of the answers to these questions I'm asking, but why do I want my crown chakra opened?
Well, your crown chakra is where your insights come in from your higher self, primarily your guides, your angels. I'm not going to go into detail, but we don't remember our past lives because there's blockages in our crown chakra that are meant for us to be actively engaging in pursuing our life purpose and discovering who we are. It would be boring if we knew the outcome, right? We wouldn't grow spiritually. So we put these blockages and they allow us, they're like guideposts. When you have deja vu or when you take a class and you have an initiation, you remove the blockages and you become more of who you already are. And at this particular time in human evolution with the earth and all the energies rising up, which is why energy medicine is the top of mind for everyone, it's very, very important that we do our own work to clear personal and ancestral blah, 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 and also raise our frequency and access our divine essence, which is the core of my chapter, actually, and my guided meditation at the end.
Yay, I love it.
Thank you, Laura. Thanks for asking that question.
Yes, I love the explanation too. That was super perfect, Bradford. Becoming more of who you are. I loved it in that one line, honestly. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Laura.
Lisa, you ready to talk about your chapter?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having all of us. Being a part of this book has been life-changing for me. And my chapter is chapter number 4. It's called Embodied. And it is to help wake up your psychic intuition to heal. And, I have a hard time talking about my chapter because it makes me cry. Having lived through it was difficult enough. Having to having to share the experience with others is very emotional. I take the reader back to punch you in your face, big awakening. And I think what I would like for people to take away the most is that you have these little moments of awakening throughout your lifetime. And if you pay attention, you can jump on the bandwagon of being connected and being part of the collective and using your soul to guide you through your life without having to go through something huge and dramatic. And that's what I wish that I had. If I go through my entire story, there's half a dozen times that I could have, should have, would have, right? F that. There's my cleaned up version. F that. So I don't live in regret. I live in gratitude. But I really would like for people to take away that if they notice these little eye-opening, awakening experiences, they can live a much more rich life.
I love it. Okay, so you said psychic intuition. And so what I want you to help the listeners with is, all right, I know I have intuition, but what are you talking about psychic intuition?
So psychic intuition, I use mine. So, we have all of these clair senses, these, they are our normal 5 senses, just heightened and used in a totally different way. And it's how do you use that information and integrate it into, for me personally, integrate it into helping the human body to heal with ease. That's how I use my specialty. Some people use it in predictive manners, predict the future, try to guide people in a way that helps humanity as a whole. I tend to use mine to help people not suffer. I recognize that, living in this human body is not easy. And it is it is my honor and my pleasure to share everything that gets delivered through me psychically, meaning through my clear senses of being able to visualize, to hear, to smell, to taste, to just know, to experience what another human being is experiencing. It's more than empathic information. It's being able to drill down and really receive information from someone else's soul, from someone else's guides, from my team, to help discover what's at the root of what's causing you any dis-ease, pain, suffering, dis-ease. Because I firmly believe a person in peace radiates peace, and that's how we're going to change the world.
I like that, that last line. That was powerful. A person in peace radiates peace. And that energy, oh yeah. Energy medicine, that kind of energy medicine. Lisa, thank you. Thanks for being here. So, Miss Trudy, are you ready to tell us about your amazing chapter?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Laura. Thank you for having us all here. Bradford and Lisa, wow, y'all speak my language. The name of my chapter is called The Birth of Truth Through Energetic Ancestral Healing. I'm from the Santee Sioux tribe of Nebraska. And so I want to honor all of my ancestors who've brought me this far. The information that I've learned and am sharing is information that they have gifted me with so that I can be the voice of truth. I can be the one who speaks the unspoken. And like Lisa said, it's very emotional. It's very private. So my chapter talks about what my inner version of me went through, the younger self. And I always knew there was something more to the physical realm that I was living and experiencing and witnessing. And then Bradford talked about the healing stones. We use those in all of our ceremonies, in all of our rituals. And I was always picking up rocks. I have them in my house. I have them in my car. I have them in my office. They're people. They transmit and they carry information and healing energy. And so I like to always honor our ancestors and the ones who are coming, because I know we all have a purpose. We all have a plan. And I think if I give myself permission to speak more about what I lived through and what I continue to live through, because this is hard work. It's not easy. It's not the flip of a switch and it's everything's changed. I still have to learn how to live here in this time, in this realm, in this space. And that can be challenging. When Jacqueline and I met and I learned more about from her, the energetic healing and the things that we did, I thought, wow, that's stuff that I do. And it helped me put parameters around it and explain what it is I do and how I can go inward. And like Lisa and Bradford were talking about, having that privilege and the honor to sit with someone and help them navigate difficult times. And it's just been an honor and a privilege. And, you know, I always heard things in our native tongue when I was little about this very stuff that we're talking about, that I get to be a part of today and leave this legacy for my children and the future generations. That's really, 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 really important to me.
Yeah, beautiful. I love listening to you guys talk about this. And I love what you said about, you know, when you come together in a community and you start to hear the language and everybody starts to out themselves for their beautiful, magnificent, magical gifts. All of a sudden you realize you're not alone. And here we are with another level of power, because yeah, it's really time to talk about what's possible in all of these realms. Energy. Oh my gosh, everything is energy. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Thank you for being here, Trudy. So Vera, tell us about your amazing chapter.
Okay, my chapter is called Healing with Herbs and Tea, a preventative solutions for wellness before and after COVID. I felt to throw that in there because we're really still at the end phase of all this. When I became a healer, I was brought many things that I didn't know existed, many diseases, and it just pushed me to learn more. Excuse me, I actually got COVID about 2 weeks ago. So I was healing all of my patients and healing friends and family. And now I got to truly experience it. And the herbs definitely are our friends. I think it was only 7 days that I then tested negative. So I think the herbs that I love were definitely there for me, and really allowed me to learn. As everyone else said, you go through that trauma to learn and then to teach. And I definitely know most of my book is talking about how I've learned as a young person till I became a teacher. And as a teacher, we basically are able to get everyone to understand why we do what we do. I eventually started using the teas because as a Chinese herbalist, people are somewhat afraid of pills now because of pharmaceutical, even though these pills are actual tea. You can crush them and turn them back to tea. So tea, I found everybody would do and drink. So I created a tea company, and I can teach through the herbs that way. So I pull them apart. I show how they work individually, how they work together. I have a little tip in there on how to make a very good immune tea. And eventually I will be doing tea talks with Auntie at my shop, and hopefully through video media, so people can bring these little things into their home for long term.
Nice. Tea talks. That
Yes.
sounds awesome. And that's, you already hit on it. I was going to follow up with, there's a lot of people who really could benefit from the use of more natural things versus the other kinds of things that the drugs and the invasive types of things, the chemicals, the toxic stuff. So
Okay.
I love that your information is in this book and encouraging people to look at those holistic and alternative kinds of things. Vera, thank you for being here.
Yes. Thank you.
So thanks really to all four of you. Thanks for stepping up to say yes to this project, for really sharing your vulnerable stories and allowing us to get to know you. And in addition, for our listeners today, you're also going to benefit from all of our authors' master teachings, right? So every single chapter, you're going to get to read that transformation story, but then you're going to get a practical tool, strategy, practice, and experience to have from the chapter. And thank you all for doing that so brilliantly, because I know it's one thing, you teach people all day long, all of you are master teachers, but it's quite another thing when someone says, okay, I want it in black and white in a book in a way that somebody can actually have the experience. And you all did it so brilliantly. So let's keep talking about energy. Lisa, I'm going to start this next question with you. You all know everything is energy, and I'm really, really excited to talk about this powerful topic. What's one important thing that you want our listeners to know about energy and what it can do for their life?
Oh,
Big
Well,
question. I
that's a
know.
huge question.
Big
We have
question.
10 nanoseconds to answer. Well, because it is in everything. So what people get this, there goes my head, Laura. Because if people understand this concept that energy is in everything, I'd like to rephrase it. Energy is everything. Period. You are the exact same energy as my phone or this water, or the air or the animals. You are of the same energy. So what you can do is tap into those different frequencies, find those different frequencies, find your own personal rhythm, get really super comfortable with that. And then you can actually feel when you vibe, right? When you actually intertwine with the energy that's around you. And from that level of intimate comfort with your own energy frequency, you get to be able to make decisions that are in your best interest. And once you start living extremely intentionally, I walk out of the house and we go for a walk every evening. And literally we walk to the end of our driveway and my husband will always ask me, do you want to go left or do you want to go right? And I feel my way through it. A question that simple. What is the energy telling me to do? Where is the energy more in flow with me in that moment? And, sometimes I'll say we have to go across the street. Sometimes, let's go right, but we have to go across the street and we have to go a block over. Because what I'm seeking all the time is the energy that will help me thrive. Period. What helps me live the best version of me that I can possibly be?
Awesome. That's an amazing way to kick off that question. Thank you. I love that awareness. It's all about awareness, right?
It
So,
really is.
yeah. Okay, Trudy, what do you want to add to this? What's one thing you want our listeners to understand about energy and what it can do for them?
So I again, I love what Lisa said, because everything is energy. I love, love, love. I get so jazzed and excited about teaching people because they're all looking for answers on the outside. And I teach them how to go inward because the answers are inside. So I teach them how to get in their body because most of us live up here in our lovely little head space. And that could be the analytical, critical self. So I teach them how to get in the body and listen to the body and what resonates with them. And then from there, we can explore, we can go outside, we can talk to the trees and the animals and the birds and the rocks and the earth. And I teach them, we have forgotten, but we can remember. Once you start recalling that by the invitation and then listening, just getting quiet, 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 quiet. Because there's so many layers of guilt and shame and doubt and questions. It's like, okay, once we can really get in and settle down, there's the answers. I love piggybacking off of what Lisa said. It's brilliant. It's beautiful. So I'm just so excited to live in this time and space and be able to share that.
That's awesome, Trudy. I love listening to you all piggyback off each other because, y'all have 100 different ways to talk about this and 100 different tools to use. And there's so many things, right? And here I am like, just tell me one. You're like, no, I want to tell you everything, Vera, how about you? What's one thing you want our listeners to understand about this topic?
Well, I feel like everyone else, these herbs have their own energy. And as a Chinese herbalist, we learn that there's different qi, right? That different energies in the body. And for instance, if you run hot, right, we're going to bring in some cold energy. All right. We always want to bring you into balance. And that's what these herbs do. So as a practitioner, I would ask you many questions, and then we would figure out what is going to be your best formula because there's thousands of them. And I love that. I love that we're all so individual and we all have these individual energies that could be too great or too small, and we want to balance you. And these herbs will pull that out of you. So that's the energy I've been working with, and I love it. And, like from body work, to actually feeling where things or energy is out of balance, where you would use crystals to help them. Um, I then eventually, hopefully, if people are going through some big stuff, get to sit down with them and say, hey, we're going to work with your energy this way. When I was teaching, we were teaching 5 element theory, with the water and the metal and the wood, and people thought I was nuts, because here these people are trying to learn more Western theory of like, my arm hurts. Well, I'm telling you, well, that's where the meridian of your intestine is. So we might want to look at your gut. And they're like, what? So it's really cool, when you start getting people to understand all the energies that are working in their body and what they can do on their own really empowers people. So I love that part of it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, me too. Love, love, love. Like Trudy said, the triple love. I love
Mm.
that. Love that holistic approach. Thank you. All right, Bradford. I know it's hard to go last on this one, but what do you want to
Actually,
add?
well, it's like a miraculous accumulation of ideas and concepts. And Vera, the balancing is exactly what it is. I have a background as a classical musical composer with a master's degree, and I manipulate energy. I manipulate frequency, and there's consonance and dissonance. And also being a sound healer, it's frequencies, different frequencies, just like crystals. And I actually teach people how to use their own voice to process and healthily release emotional blockages, which I also teach people, if you want to understand the workings of the universe, look at wave dynamics. It's all about amplification, diminution, and phase cancellation, and everything can be brought into balance and harmony. And that's really the basis of intuitive work with what resonates with you, because what's the frequencies, the physical frequencies of that, even being thought forms or people or colors, it has some relation, some harmonic relationship with your unique spectrum of energy, expression, and vibration. So I love to empower people to realize, oh, and even like forgiveness, that's a frequency. When you feel someone's hate coming towards you, send love. But instead of sending love, just be love and let the hate be transmuted. So it's just a matter of again, like Trudy said, being still and silent so you can perceive the vibrations around you, and committing yourself, like Lisa said, to be thriving. To your goal is to be. We're supposed to be joyful, creative beings of love, not suffering, depressed beings of pain. That's not God's plan. That's not God's image, or whatever you believe in. So it's all about the light and the love, and those are two of the most powerful forces in the universe.
with your
Ah,
with your
well,
universe
well,
behind
I
you.
got
I
my
love
yes, exactly.
Get your wands going.
Here's all my energy coming out here through me, rather.
Okay, this is like the super most awesome segue too. So it's going to move us right into this next thing that I want you guys to talk about. Trudy, I'm starting with you for this one. So you all know this. To take a full advantage of understanding and mastering energy and energy medicine, you have to practice awareness, and that looks different for every individual, right? So being able to feel is how you get to the healing. You have to connect. So that's part of this for me. And Trudy, with you first, I'd like you to share what is your, again, one of the ways you practice connecting. What's that awareness practice look like in your day to day? Give us a little hint window to that.
So every morning when I get up, I thank Creator and I call my power back from all the places I've left it. And that doesn't mean just physical space. It could be thoughts. And then I move into my ritual of meditation and greeting the day and all of our ancestors who walk with me every day. I thank them. I ask them to lead the way, show me how I can help others today, physical and non-physical, because I don't, maybe see is the wrong word, but I don't, there's not a separation. There's just a nice divine love connection. So then I just sit with that and release all of my own resistance, all of the things that keep me small, questions, doubt, any layers of shame that may trickle in. Release it, release it, release it, and release it. And that's how I start each and every day.
I love it. Did you guys hear 3 things, not just one? So like if I rewind Trudy to the first thing she said, well, first I call my power back. So like I want our listeners to understand that there's, first of all, there's a million ways to connect, and not every one way is great for everybody, will work for everybody, or will resonate for everyone. But because the people that you're hearing from today have devoted their lives to this, we connect in so many different ways, and we have created practices and disciplines of connection, of awareness, right? And so I'm just going to, you heard from Trudy, I call my power back. And that is like this first thing that she sets this intention of her day with. Even that one thing, Trudy, is so powerful, right? So I just wanted to kind of like pause people to make sure they heard that. That was an important one. Awesome. This is so amazing to hear you guys, your practices. Vera, how about you? What's one of the ways that you connect?
Pretty much the same thing that Trudy does. I mean, I really, I sat when I learned yoga with a monk and he forced me into meditation for hours at a time. And it was hard. It's very hard because there's so many distractions. So I find, before I get into someone else's space, I clear my own. Years ago, I would do lots of marathons, do the massages at the end. And one of our trainers came in and said, you guys are going to be picking up a lot of energy from a lot of people, and it may not be good. And he advised us when we were done, when we washed our hands, to hold on to metal and to let that metal take things from you. So I've always learned to, like, whenever I'm in someone else's space, especially when I know they're, going through a process of disease or pain, I pick it up, as being empathic and being in their energy, that I have to continue to clear it. So yeah, so he's like, hold on to the metal and let the water run through you, and it really does help, when you use these metaphors for yourself to be able to cleanse and get back in the world as the best self as you can be, open and ready to help and to heal. That's what I do quite a bit throughout the day.
Thank you. I love that you touched on a practice that every professional or practitioner of anything that helps anybody. I think if you're not practicing that kind of boundary or that kind of self-care as a healer, you'll burn out.
Yes.
So
I think that's been really a testament to my longevity. It's been over 22 years of me touching bodies, and I've seen people burn out after 2 or 3 years.
yes.
Yes, so, and I know that's exactly the reason why, is because of the self-care. It's so important to find those little moments in the day that you can go and kind of decompress.
Yes, we like to decompress for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. Bradford, how about you? What's one of the ways that you connect? And y'all, I will say thanks for giving us a window into your lives, because it helps people understand what's possible for their practices. You know, maybe they haven't tried something that you guys are practicing.
Sure. Thank you for sharing that importance of clearing and cleansing. There's some tricks up the sleeve in universal white time healing that I won't get into that I do, but for me, I travel with my soul a lot while I dream, while I'm sleeping, and I future create, and you'll understand when you read my chapter. And so it's very important for me to get up and connect with my physical body and with the earth. And I do that through this series of Tibetan movements that Rinpoche, a Tibetan monk, taught me several years ago. It's part of my daily ritual. If I can't work out like my full workout, I'll just do that for 10 minutes, and that'll really get me back completely into my physical body, because aspects of me are on different levels in different places in the universe and elsewhere while I'm sleeping. And then what's very important, if I don't do this, my day is off, I dream journal. I write in my journal as much of a detail as I can of my dreams. And again, you'll understand why that's significant when you read my chapter. But it's because a lot of my dreams come true. And it also shapes my ability to get more work done on all levels. But if I don't do those two things, my day feels very off. And it takes maybe about a half an hour, and just give yourself that simple amount of time first thing in the morning. And Trudy, it's so obvious. I don't know why I don't just say that I'm going to reclaim my power, like gather my strength back. Just so this that one thought, and letting it be so, is a really great way once you spring right out of bed and you do that. So
Love it, Bradford.
That's some of what I do.
Thank you. All right, Lisa, how about yours? Give us a window.
A window into my daily life. My entire life is dedicated to making sure that I'm in harmony. It's my literally every
What's one way you connect?
right.
I'm gonna rein you in with this question.
Yeah. Listen, it's all the things, right? I do exactly what Trudy said. I do exactly what Vera said. I do exactly what Bradford said. I would say the only thing that is probably a standout and different for me is that I make time to practice the gyrotonic method. So that is a movement-based method that for the physical body, it's for stretching and strengthening. It's for your spine, it's for spinal health, and that's when you start crossing the line, right? So it helps you ground because it's working with the physical body. But then your main objective is to work on your spine. So that gets you to that energetic connection because you're working on your center channel. And from there, all the energy clears your body, your field, at your space, the people who are going to be coming in. It's just this projection outward. So I would say that that's probably one of the biggest practices I have.
Awesome. That's fun for people to hear too. If you haven't heard of gyrotonics, and go Google that, and you guys can learn all about it.
For sure.
Awesome, Lisa. Thank you. All right, I have one more for all of you today, and let's see if we can keep this to a sentence or two. Honestly, like summarize for the listeners. And this question is really for the listeners. So I want to know what advice you'd give someone who might just be stepping on this path, right? They need an easy entry point. Vera, what do you want them to know?
Well, I really just start with people to, learn their own energy. I would play games with them, and, as just rubbing the hands and, feeling that energy, the ball in between the hands, and
Makes
just,
me want to do it.
yeah, I mean,
I like
it's
that one.
great because it allows you, people are very visual. They want to see something. They want to know it's there. But sometimes if you stop and you just feel it, then you realize, wow, maybe there is something different. Because again, as a teacher, a lot of people thought I was woo woo, until they started really doing the work. And that's what I say, start with yourself and feeling your own energy and looking, books and guides. And, there's so many of us that are out here. I'm so happy for this book bringing us together. That's always been my vision, because we always feel like we're on our own island. So it's really nice to be able to have a space where people can come, have a book to open and say, wow, there's a lot of things out there that I never realized.
Yes, that is going to be this book, you guys.
Yeah.
Bradford, what's one thing you want our listeners to know in terms of that easy entry point, that simple stepping stone that they can take today?
Believe in yourself. That's it. You are who you are. You came here to be you. You, wherever you are, there you are. And the magical thing is when you believe in yourself and then take that leap of faith into the impossible, into what you really want for yourself, what really drives you, what's your passion. Deep down, everyone has one. Find that passion first, but believe in yourself and know that you can do what you're passionate about, because those energies, the universe responds and provides in ways that are beyond your comprehension. So do not limit yourself by your beliefs, but believe in yourself, because you yourself are limitless.
Love it. Thank you. All right, Lisa, you're up on this one.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. What's that one simple
Because
thing?
I was just literally blown away by your and Bradford, right?
I mean, every tip that you guys are giving they're foundational. So that's the thing, like any
Yeah.
one thing, and that's going to be the book too. What's that simple entry point for the listener if they're just stepping onto this path today? What do you want them to know?
Sure. Surround yourself with like-minded people. If you build your community to be of people who support you, who empower you, and who want the best for you, you're going to succeed. And believe me, this is not an easy journey. You will want to quit. You will want to fall down. You'll say that's the end of it. You'll read about mine in my chapter. It's a vulnerable moment. But if you have people, and there are so many of us now, if you have people that you can tap into and say, I want to quit all of this today. I don't know what I'm doing. And they say, I've got you. Oh my God. Of course you have the strength to go live your soul's purpose. Of course you have the tenacity to stay in it and to keep exploring and discovering. So just surround yourself with people who will support you and empower you.
Yes, to that one as well. I'm going to put a yes with an exclamation point. Trudy, you're going to close us out today, girl. What do you want people to know?
I love people to dream big and go back to when they were a little person and think about what memories they have that are so fun and uplifting and freeing and just things they loved, because it awakens that excitement and that zest and that joy that we came into this life with before we were conditioned by life to learn how to mistrust and doubt. And just go back to that time, that beautiful sacred time, and start that inward journey, that awakening process. And I always tell my folks, keep your eye on the prize, and that's you.
I love it.
And go and follow your dreams. Because when you do that, like all of y'all have said, they tend to multiply and expand and grow. And get ready.
Get ready for the good stuff. Thank you,
That's
Trudy.
Hey, Laura, could I just add one more little thing?
Sure.
Do we have time?
We
I
need a
just
brief
would
one, but
really-
yes.
Yeah, I just really want readers to recognize this book is like a cookbook, right? You might identify with a whole bunch of different tools and stories. Start mixing them. Start creating your own healing journey, because I think, I think that that's really important.
Yeah, for sure it is. And that's a good note that, and that's why we put people together in these collaborations, because we know not one thing works for everyone, and not even one modality works for the same person every single time, you guys.
Mhm.
So we're putting all of them together as this beautiful gift of a toolkit for you, where you can explore and discover and try new things and meet new people. Authors, thank you so much for what you do in the world and being here today to share it with everyone. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Laura.
All right, listeners, there's a lot going on here. So you're invited to join our book launch party. That's going to be November 18th at 10 a.m. Eastern. And we'll have an invitation down below where you can join our Zoom and rub elbows with our authors, who will be there to talk about their chapter and drop some wisdom and inspiration for you. I've got you linked up below. I know that you've heard something today that gave you the goosebumps, maybe got you curious, and you're interested in carrying on the conversation with one of these authors. Just scroll down to the show notes, because I have them all hooked up with their websites there. This is more than just a book, you guys. This is a community who genuinely wants you to reach out. They're there generously for you to reach out, to ask that question, to get the support you need, to grab a hand and help you on the journey, right? So come on down, take a little exploration, click on the links, find out about all of the awesomeness that they're up to. And if you're listening to this interview anytime around that November 18 mark, well, that means you can go grab the book on Amazon, because it'll be ready by then. Lastly, today, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it's time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.